friends, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we will talk about the topic human circulatory system. So this is the diagram that is taken from your NCERT biology class 11th book, and this is the diagram we have made for our easy understanding. So let's start with the first point, that is that human circulatory system consists of heart, blood and the blood vessels. Next we have general functions of the heart, in which there is first point, heart is a muscular and mesodermally derived organ. Now what do you mean by this term? Let us understand. When a baby starts developing inside the mother's womb, its body is first made up of 3 layers that are called germ layers. So the middle layer is called the mesoderm, and the mesoderm forms the parts of the body that give strength, support and movement, and it forms muscles, bone, heart, blood and blood vessels, kidneys, reproductive organs and dummies of skin. And any organ that develops from the mesoderm is called mesodermally derived organ. Now I hope that you have understood this term and you can easily explain to others. So the next point is that the entire heart is made up of cardiac muscles, and the location of heart is thoracic cavity, that is between the 2 lungs. So here you can see this is first lung and this is second lung. Between there is a heart present, and also heart is slightly tilted to the left side like this, and it is enclosed by the double-walled membranous pericardium, and the size of the heart is approximately of our clenched fist. So suppose this box is the heart, okay, and this layer is called the pericardium, and the fluid that is present in between this is called the pericardial fluid that reduces the friction during the heart movements. Now, chambers of heart. As we all know that heart has 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Atria means upper chamber and ventricles mean lower chamber. And you also know that the atria is thin and ventricles is thick. Now, most important points. Wall of the ventricles are thicker than the walls of the atria, and the left ventricle has the thickest wall as it pumps blood to the entire body. This is the diagram that you have already studied in class 10th. Next we move to the 4th point, that is spectra of heart. So first spectrum we have interatrial spectrum that separates right and left atria. Let us understand through the diagram. As you have studied now only that interatrial spectrum separates left atrium and right atrium. This is the portion where these 2 atria are separated. Next, interventricular septum that separates the right and the left ventricles. This is the interventricular septum that separates the left ventricle and right ventricle. Now last, arterioventricular septum that separates atria from the ventricles. So this is the atrioventricular septum that separates the atrium and the ventricles. This is the portion. I hope you have understood these 3 septums. Let's move to the next. Now, the 5th point is valves of the heart that ensures the unidirectional flow of the blood. That means it ensures that the blood flow is towards the one direction only. valves of the heart is divided into two types. First is arterioventricular valves and the second is semilunar valves. So under arterioventricular valves we have the two types. Tricuspid valve. So it is between the right atrium and the right ventricle. Now the second type is bicuspid or the mitral valve, that is present between the left atrium and the ventricle. Semilunar valve, we have the two types. First is pulmonary semilunar valve, that is present between the right ventricle and pulmonary artery. And second is aortic semilunar valve, is present between the left ventricle and the aorta. I hope this you already know, so there is no need to explain. So next is blood vessels connected to the heart. Here you can see that the same diagram is shown that you have already studied in class 10th. So let me explain you quickly. So from lungs to the left atrium, the oxygenated blood passes through the pulmonary vein, and after left ventricles it passes through the tissues through aorta, and then from tissues to the right atrium deoxygenated blood passes through the vena cava, and from the right ventricle it passes through the lungs through the pulmonary vein to exhale out. Pulmonary vein, it brings oxygenated blood to the left atrium. Aorta carries oxygenated blood to tissues, and vena cava brings deoxygenated blood to the right atrium, and pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood to lungs. So next we have nodal tissue. Now what do you mean by this term? It means that heart contains specialized cardiac muscle that is called the nodal tissue. So under this we have the first SA node that generates impulse at the highest rate, and it is located in the upper corner of the right atrium, and it is also acts as a pacemaker of the heart. This is most important term to be remembered. So let me explain this term and this term together. So the next we have the AV node that is located in the left corner of the right atrium and which is close to the arterioventricular septum. Next point, that is bundle of His. The bundle of His originates from the AV node and it passes through the interventricular septum. Next we have the Purkinje fibers, which helps in the rapid conduction of the electrical impulse of the heart. Now let us move further. So next we have the nature of the heartbeat, and also we know that normally it is approximately 70 to 75 per minute, and in average we have 22 beats per minute. And we also know that heartbeat is a myogenic. Now what do you mean by this term? It means that heart doesn't need nerves for the beating. It can generate its own electrical impulses. Okay? Most important. Cardiac muscles can generate impulses on their own. Rate of heartbeat is controlled by pacemaker. Double circulation. Blood passes through the heart twice in a one cycle. Ensures complete separation of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Auto-excitable. Now what do you mean by this term? Let us understand. Heart can produce electrical impulse on its own without external stimulation. This is also very important term to be remembered. So the nodal tissue is equals to the auto-excitable. Like we can say that nodal tissue is also known as the auto-excitable, and it can also initiate the action potentials by itself, and this property makes the heart mesogenic. And because of the auto-excitability, SA node acts like the pacemaker. And with that, we have completed our most important topic, that is human circulatory system.